when I got there, I talked to them like I'm talking to you about my experiences. And, in South America, you have your main meal at lunchtime. So when my father-in-law that day came home for lunch, he said to Bert, you know what? Today your future wife arrived. And that is 67 years ago. And there was a small Jewish group in Quito. They had arranged, maybe we were 12 people, for me to meet them in one of their homes and for me to get to know the other young people. And we met, and I didn't, of course, know anything, but he went home that day, said to his father, "You're completely wrong. That's not the one for me." That, of course, I heard afterwards. Anyway, we then got married, had 3 children. We first had a little girl, and barely 2 years later, we had twins, a boy and a girl. We were, of course, extremely happy, and the advantage in Ecuador is, compared to here, you can get plenty of help. This was, of course, before Pampers and whatever facilities you have here now. And there was no problem with diaper washing. I think I never washed a diaper in my life. And the kids grew up happy and healthy. And it's everything that little kids do. We're not deprived in any way or form. And then in Ecuador, the inflation sort of killed us, in the sense that prices went up, but, we have inflation here, but it's minor. There it was, how many percent?
Well, in Zanders, it was so difficult in Chile with the inflation.
Yeah.
In Ecuador it was because...
Yeah, but why did we left Ecuador because we felt, for us, who were still young, and the 3 children, the future for them in Ecuador was pretty limited, and we wanted a better country. So we packed up, on account that my husband is a European trained chef, a cook, a chef. He could work anywhere. And, he had offers to go wherever he really wanted at that time. So, with that in mind, we left for Chile and lived in Chile for 10 years. And he worked as a chef in one of the top hotels there. And we also had like a little grocery store where I did quite a bit of work in the cashiering and so on. After 10 years there, Chile is a beautiful country, beautiful climate. You can decide, like here in a summer morning, whether you want to go into the mountains and ski or go to the beach. And the ocean is warm, it's beautiful to swim in the ocean there. So we made friends, and we would not have left. But the political situation turned sour. A leftist president came in, and we did not want to live under that kind of government. And we had applied for the visas here to the United States already quite a while before, because at that time the dream was always, the United States of America. Anyway, we made it, we sold our business, and we came here and landed in, I think we flew, in San Antonio, Texas, That was our first stop. And we had a distant relative in Dallas, Texas, which was really our first stop. And that that was a really sweet couple. We stayed there for a few days. Bert bought a car, and we packed the kids with a small U-Haul, pulling a small U-Haul with all our stuff to pull that, and went across to Los Angeles. Because in Los Angeles we had good friends who had immigrated a couple of years before with also 3 children, and they were going to show us the way you do things in America, which of course was quite a change from the way we live with help and that we are used to. We knew we had traveled here in the United States before, just for pleasure. We had gone across country from the West Coast to the East Coast, and we knew if we ever came to live here, the only thing we would like is to live here in California, and preferable because I don't like the heat in San Francisco area. Anyway, we made it again on account of my husband's profession. We settled here, and I'm talking about now we're here like 48 years, I think we're here, no?
Yeah.
In this area, and we intend to stay here for another however how many years we are allowed to stay on this earth. And well, that's just in big thoughts, my history. Now, if you have questions to go into more detail, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I actually want to hear more about Manchester, when you lived in England and what that was like. And
well, as I said, as I mentioned it, we were put the 16 girls into one house. Mm-hmm. We shared, of course, rooms with 3 or 4 girls. And we had those house parents, which were strictly Orthodox.
right.
And that, for me, was really a major adjustment, you know. Just between the milking and the flashing and the towels that were wrong, and you could only do this, and this was wrong, and the spoon went in the wrong box, and oh my God, it was really rough. But, you know, you're young, you get used to anything. You know, it becomes obvious, and even I believed at that time, I was 14, 15 years old, I believed that was the only way to live, and that lasted as long as I got back to my mother in South America, when she even made the effort to buy separate pots for me to cook, and I met him, and who was completely liberal, and it all went by the wayside.
Yeah. How about your Judaism now in your life?
Yeah, now, I mean, we used to belong to a temple here, but always Reform, and as I say, our son was bar mitzvah, and even his twin sister too. We belonged at the time, we lived in Westlake, Daly City, and belonged to Temple Judea. At the time it was Judea, today it's Ben Israel Judea or something. They merged with another temple. And they went to Sunday school there, and really made friends, and went to Westmore High School, and then married or found jobs more towards, my one daughter went to Davis and became and then later on to Berkeley and became a librarian. And my other daughter, at the time, St. Luke's Hospital in San Francisco had a nursing program. And she wanted to become a nurse, which meant at the time, that's all changed, she lived there 5 days a week and came home on weekends. And she was still working as a nurse, took more classes and so on, became a nurse practitioner, and her field is gynecology and family planning.
Mm-hmm. you mentioned that there was an evacuation from your school where you went to in Germany to England. What was that like?
Very, very frightening.
Yeah.
You stand, first of all, our family in Germany had to provide clothing for us, and we were in a growing age for 4 years. So that was a hassle, to say the least. But of course we did it, or our parents did it, and we left from the station in Cologne, and I see all these parents not being sure whether they were doing the right thing, sending their children that far into the unknown, a different language and a different environment and everything. But I have to say, of course it was the right thing, because most of these parents never made it out of Germany. They stayed too late, couldn't get out anymore, and went to the camps.
What year were you evacuated to England?
That was in 39, July of 39.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it's a great story. Do you like keep in touch with people that you knew?
Yes, I do. I mean, of the people I lived with in England, as they grew up, most of them went to Israel.
Oh, wow.
Some went into the kibbutz, and some, of course, got married there and had family there and are completely settled there. We visited twice in Israel and I looked up a couple of them that were still interested in those times to rehash them. And that's always been very, very nice,
Yeah. Do you feel a connection to Israel as the Jewish state?
Some, yes. Not very closely, no.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, we had a son-in-law who is Israeli and who served in the Israeli Air Force, but always had the ambition to come to America, and he did, and became an engineer and worked until his retirement for HP.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Do you guys have any questions? I don't know. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
It's so interesting. I love hearing your story. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, and I'm coming back in September.
Oh, yeah.
An anniversary present for you.
Oh.